jewel among the blooms, your tiny wings a blur. Outside my dining room, colibri, colibri, all the way from desert sands to the northern icy seas. Colibri, colibri, in my garden here today, another stop along your way. Colibri. So in case you haven't figured out, colibri is Spanish for hummingbird. Oh, little hummingbird, what makes you fly so far? Is it a change in the air, or a song in your heart? Colibri, colibri, all the way from desert sands to the northern icy seas. Colibri, colibri, in my garden here today, another stop along your way. Colibri, did you see a señorita way down in Mexico? Did she dream like me of wings to fly to places wild and free? Colibri, colibri, all the way to desert sands to the northern icy seas. Colibri, colibri, in my garden here today, another stop along your way. Colibri, in my garden here today, another stop along your way. Colibri. So welcome to Tuesday Night Live. I'm Sue Young. That is a song that I co-wrote with Chrissy Natoli, a friend of mine, wonderful songwriter, about a hummingbird. We were sitting in my dining room one day, with the intention to write a song, and we were just talking about what should we write about, and there was a hummingbird hovering around outside the window. So we ended up writing a song about a hummingbird.
Oh, Sue, that's a
And
beautiful
that
tune.
song kind of makes me think of springtime. This is going to be our spring show.
We got a spring show?
Yeah, it's our
official spring show?
post-equinox spring show. Now, some of the songs are going to be like our regular songs we play all year round, but a few of them are going to be, seasonally themed, and that was one of the spring-themed songs in my mind. So, hope you had a great equinox, and we're all getting up an hour earlier now. Of course, that we get those nice long evenings with daylight, which is nice. Has everybody adjusted yet to the time change? If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can type in a comment. Let us know that you're here and where you're watching from. We'd love to know that you're with us.
That'd be wonderful, guys. And again, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. We are excited to be here.
And switch guitars for this next song.
We're going to get Sue switched up on her guitar. And it is. I mean, there's nothing like that first really full spring day in Austin, Texas. And I can remember moving here in 1978 and going through kind of that experience of that first spring day, and 41 years ago. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. So we're going to start off with a song that talks about comebacks. And I think as things start to open up in this country with the pandemic and stuff, I get a sense that maybe comeback might be a pretty good little phrase to keep in mind as we roar back.
Exactly.
All right, Sue, here we go, sweetheart.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
got 500 square feet to myself. I like to keep it quiet for my mental health. Been a year or more since a hard divorce, and I'm working on a change of course. Lord, I feel a comeback coming on. Lord, I feel a comeback coming on. Lord, I feel a comeback coming on. It'll be here before too long. No matter how much I'm to blame, know that God loves me just the same. I've been fed by tears that I shed. Here's the better days ahead. Lord, I feel a comeback coming on. Lord, I feel a comeback coming on. Lord, I feel a comeback coming on. It'll be here before too long. Well, my mama said, son, you're gonna reap what you sow. Well, I planted new seeds, and they're starting to grow.
Okay, guys. Actually, I don't want it to overlay. All right, we are using a semi-new platform here. Restream is a beautiful platform. And so if you do want to drop us a little note in the comments, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to know that you're here. I'm going to do a song that we did last week for our St. Patrick's Day show, and I just love this song so much that we're going to do it again. It's really beautiful, and you know it's springtime here in Texas, but summer's going to be here before you know it, especially in Central Texas. I mean, it could be here like next week, really, seriously. So, kind of a summertime song, but you know,
it's beautiful.
Spring, it will give way to summer. Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, laddie, go? And we'll all go together to the wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, laddie, go? I will build my love a bower by yon crystal fountain, and round it I will pile all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, laddie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. and the deep glens so dreary, and return with their spoils to the bower of my dearie. Will you go, laddie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, laddie, go? I will range through the wilds and the deep glens so dreary. If my true love shall not come, then I'll surely find another to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, laddie, go? And we'll all go together to pull wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, laddie, go? Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, laddie, go?
All right, Sue. That was pretty. That was pretty.
Adjust this a little bit, like so. Right.
So we're going to keep things in Sue's capable hands. And she's going to do a beautiful
yes.
little Spanish number that
Another song that reminds me of spring.
she learned this song doing folk basses in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah, this is actually the first song I ever learned to sing in Spanish. And it's a song that talks about nature. It talks about the trees and the flowers that bloom in the springtime, the birds that come back in the springtime. There's a whole verse about chickens. Anybody out there who's got chickens in your backyard, this is for you. And there's a final verse about light. It's called De Colores, which means colorful. De colores, se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores, son los reflejos que el sol atesora. De colores, es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo, the rooster sings. Canta el gallo con el kiri, 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 kiri. La gallina, that's the hen. La gallina con el cara, 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 cara. Los pollitos con el pío, 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 pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
worked out pretty good, Sue.
Yeah. Oh, I love that song. So it sounds like Stephanie is having, we're the dinner time music for Stephanie.
Good.
And my mom is out there and her pear tree is blooming. Anybody else, if anything is blooming in your yard, by your house, feel free to let us know what's blooming.
Well, we had a little treat today. About a week and a half ago, Sue and I made a delicious gumbo and put a little bit in the freezer, and we're able to pull that out and defrost it and have a nice little lunch in the middle of a good busy work day. So that was fantastic. And with that thought in mind, we're going to do seafood platter. It's not exactly a gumbo, but it's got a little.
It's a Gulf Coast dish. So.
It inhabits a similar spot in my psychology.
And what is that, Rusty?
Just kind of that good old seafood, Gulf Coast, hanging out, all that good stuff.
Right. So
this is called seafood platter.
This is more than just a song about food. This is about a philosophy and approach to life.
Absolutely. And it goes almost exactly like this. You ready, Sue Young?
I'm ready, Rusty.
Okay. I want a seafood platter because, baby, I want it all.
I want a seafood
platter because, baby, I want it all. Don't make me choose to the tartar and the cocktail sauce. I want a seafood platter because, baby, I want it all.
Sing along out there.
I want a seafood platter because, baby, I want it all.
You know you want it.
Don't make me choose to the tartar and the cocktail sauce. Oh, forget that baby, brother, I can't wait. Lord, forget that baby, brother, I can't wait. You just take that baby and stick it all on one plate. I want a seafood platter because, baby, I want it all. I want a seafood platter because, baby, I want it all. Don't make me choose to the tartar and the cocktail sauce. Oh, you can get it bald, you can get it fried, you can get it with a T-bone on the side. Something this good must be against the law. Long as you don't fill up on the slaw. I want a seafood platter.
I want a seafood platter. I want a
seafood platter, cause baby I want it all.
Oh, Rusty.
Oh, here I go. Seafood soft in my hush puppy's heart.
What do you want, Rusty?
I want seafood soft in my hush puppy's heart.
Take them puppies.
Take them puppies and stick them in a bucket of lard. I want a seafood platter cause baby I want it all. I want a seafood platter cause baby I want it all. Don't make me choose to the tartar and the cocktail sauce. That felt good. I just can't get enough of that song.
Absolutely. Why don't you turn on that light over there?
I get a light
I
too?
feel like we could up our lighting a little bit here, yeah.
All right, there we go.
See a little bit more light on that handsome face.
Oh, Sue, listen to you. What do you want?
What do I want? Actually, can we try scooting over that way just like an inch? That way.
How's that, Sue?
That's better. I think we're
You
a little bit more centered.
You're all
now.
about the composition, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, so we got another food song coming up, and what else I wanted to say about that song? Maybe not. I love that song, and it does. Joanna says she just returned from the coast, so hopefully you got your fill of good seafood while you were down there.
Welcome back, Joanna.
So, y'all, something you can do to help us out if you're watching on Facebook tonight is you can hit the share button and let your friends, just share with your friends who may be online right now. And so we're going to do another song I wrote about food, and I compared Rusty to a blue plate special.
Oh, yeah.
Like it.
All right, Sue, what do you
satisfying. It. The song kind of says it better than I can.
Sweet.
Than I could say it. So it goes like this. I used to want a meal in a fancy fill me up. You got everything I need. You are my blue plate special. I can count on you. You're my blue plate. You're my blue plate. You're my blue plate special.
Beautiful job, Sue.
Well, thank you.
That
very
was written
much.
for me.
I wrote that for
Wow,
you. Well, it
that's
did start out as a writing prompt, but I just thought, this makes me think about,
That's sweet.
got me thinking about choices and good choices versus not so good choices, and Rusty's one of the better choices I've made. So
We got that beautiful song about your great grandmother now.
yeah, so we're gonna go back to our spring theme right now with a song about gardening. My great grandmother was an incredible gardener. Do I not have the second page of this? That's okay. I think I know it pretty much. I think I know it. So my great grandmother was a great gardener, and she passed away when I was very young, so I don't really remember her too much. But I wrote this song based on all the memories people shared with me about what she was like, and the fact that she was this legendary gardener. So perhaps if you're gardening right now, you could type into the comments what you are planting right now or planning to plant if you're somewhere where it's still cold, too cold to plant. This is called In the Garden. She's standing in the garden in a faded photograph, her long hair swept up high upon her head. Her fingers reach out to the blooms. She would not cut the flowers, would not bring them in the house, for she said, flowers belong in the garden. Now Mary was a Catholic and Bertie was a Mason. They fell in love in 1897, wed and raised 8 children on a farm outside of town. All the girls but one went to college. All the boys studied art, that's for real. And there were poppies and lilies, sweet peas and zinnias, lilacs and iris, hollyhocks and roses, daisies and dahlias, peonies and bleeding hearts, and lilies of the valley. In 1933, Bert passed away, and Mary moved back into town, into a white 2-story house that was just 2 blocks south of Main Street. She began her garden out and back, grew until it occupied the whole yard. The children were all grown by then, but grandchildren would come and play and hide among the paths and squares that filled the yard just like a maze. And they'd eat grandma's cookies and they'd listen to her stories. The older ones helped in the garden. They tended poppies and lilies, sweet peas and zinnias, lilacs and iris, hollyhocks and roses, daisies and dahlias, peonies and bleeding hearts, and lilies of the valley. And when the cold winds began to blow, she'd hate to see and when summer began to go, she'd hate to see, oh, I can't remember the song, something about summer going away.
That was close.
She'd sit by the window and dream of spring, of spring, of spring, and of poppies and lilies, sweet peas and zinnias, lilacs and iris, hollyhocks and roses, daisies and dahlias, peonies and bleeding hearts, and lilies of the valley. She's standing in the garden in a faded photograph, her long hair swept up high upon her head. Her fingers reach out to the blooms. She would not cut the flowers, would not bring them in the house, for she said, flowers belong in the garden.
Beautiful job, Sue.
So yes, that's my great-grandmother who lived in Wisconsin, where you cannot garden in the wintertime. Everything is covered with snow for a lot of the winter, so she would have to just wait till spring before she could get back to her garden. I'm sure that was tough for her because she apparently lived for her garden. Oh, the peony bush that had been transplanted from the family farm. I did get to go see that house. After my grandmother passed away, we all went back to that little town in Wisconsin for the memorial service, and I got to see great-grandmother's house.
Is that Milwaukee?
It's actually Thorpe, Wisconsin. Thorpe, Wisconsin.
They got a town other than Milwaukee?
Raise your hand if you know where Thorpe. Have you ever heard of Thorpe, Wisconsin? It's very small. Like if you blink, you might miss it as you're driving through.
Do you have a Dairy Queen in there at Thorpe?
I don't know if they have a Dairy Queen or not. It's still pretty small. All right, so we have another song about, I think this goes with our spring theme tonight. This is called The Seed. And Rusty and I wrote this, I don't know, maybe back in the fall or something. It's sort of kind of fairly new. We want to put this where Rusty can see it too.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just get our words and our chords situated here.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's see, I have my capo on the 6th fret.
This is really a special day on Sunday. Sue and I, for the last few months, have been singing to a camera at the church service.
Many months.
Many months.
Yes.
Singing to a camera at church on Sundays, and they had a little gradual, abbreviated opening on Sunday, and
Partial reopening.
much to my wonder, it was just a really good
sweet
turnout,
and
that showed
people
up.
I hadn't seen since last summer, since we closed down last year. It was really, really wonderful to see their faces again with, their eyes and their hair. You couldn't see their smiles, but I know everybody was smiling.
Yeah, it was special.
Underneath those masks, yeah.
And I thought this song
So
was
wonderful.
particularly apropos for that, and it goes like this.
Wound up tight, hidden from the light, used to feel so right, used to feel so true.
Inside this shell, it's a darkness I know well. Now I begin to swell into something new. I'm cracking open and stretching to the sun. I'm reaching higher into what I can become, what I can become. When I wake from sleep, roots are thrusting deep. I have promises to keep. Time for the seed to grow. can become. What I can become. All right, Sue. That was good. That was good.
Minneapolis is in the house. Hello there to my aunt. I don't know if you caught the song about great grandmother, your grandmother. You can go back and listen tomorrow or later. Just want to give a heads up to anyone out there wondering if we have a tip jar. We do have a virtual tip jar. There should be a link in the description on top of the post. And anything that you put in there will be greatly appreciated. And even if you're watching tomorrow or whenever you see this, it's never too late to put a little something in the tip jar.
And it's kind of pretty cool right now because Sue's been working hard to check in on summer bookings for her storytelling and kids work, and she's starting to get a little action.
A few, you know. It's
starting to get a little action.
I have one live show booked in July. I'm super excited. I am getting my second vaccine shot on Friday. So, in 2 weeks after that, I should be in pretty good shape. All right.
Great shape, Sue.
I need to refresh my memory. Fifth fret.
Fifth fret, yeah.
G position.
This is a song that goes out to my father-in-law, Richard. It's amazing how little comments can really make a difference, and this is one that she has spoken highly of, this song, and it kind of gave me a little different look at it, and I appreciate that. The song is called Invisible. Not because it's a song about being invisible, but it's just the way the song starts. We just.
I think there's sometimes you feel invisible.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
I feel like people don't see you.
I'm invisible. 'Cause you got no idea how I feel. All these muscles round my lips can form a smile that's anything but real. And this happy voice is but a lie. Just pretending that things are fine. You ask me how I'm doing, and I say I'm doing well. You might be ready for the truth, but it's more than I can tell. Keep kicking that can a little further down the line, and I'm just pretending that things are fine. This wounded feeling in my heart that I dared not show. This shadow life I live is the only one I know. Well, I pick up a magazine, and all I seem to see is smiles. Well, I guess happy is the only emotion in style. Those those happy people in the magazine. They have problems just like mine. And are they pretending that things are fine? All right, so I sure like it when you sing harmony on that little bridge.
Yeah, I know I'm going to adjust this so people can see more of your hands, because I feel like
I don't need to see
there's
myself.
some nice guitar playing going on tonight.
That one
you know.
felt pretty good, Sue. I got to
People
admit, that felt pretty good. That little.
Yeah, so if you're feeling invisible out there, we're really glad that you're with us tonight. It's okay if you're still feeling a little, we're still getting through this darn thing, but I'm starting to feel more hopeful.
I know I am, Sue. I got my first little giglet coming up on Sunday. We're in a little outdoor food truck place out west around Driftwood, Dripping Springs area, and had a couple of buddies that were playing out there last Sunday and went over to say hi and support that. And then one of them couldn't show up this Sunday, so they asked me to sub. And so anyway,
Okay.
all distanced up and everything else,
I
and
hope
ready
so.
to go.
I hope so.
Ready to go.
Yes.
All right, Sue, this is your song right here. This is
This
that
is-
beautiful song about the guitar.
Yes, it's a song about a guitar, and the words were written by Federico Garcia Lorca, who is a national poet of Spain, and
Was or is? Sue?
was. I mean, he's not alive anymore. He actually was writing during the Spanish Civil War, and Martina la guitarra. Oh, this one, yes. Rusty calls her Lightning, but we could also call her Martina. I like that. That's a good name for that guitar.
Oh, lightning.
Anyway, so this song, this American songwriter, Steve Gillette, a really wonderful, wonderful songwriter, he put this poem to music. So here is La Guitarra. Empieza el llanto de la guitarra, se rompen las copas en la madrugada. Empieza el llanto de la guitarra, es inútil callarla, es imposible callarla. Llora monótona como llora el agua, como llora el viento sobre la nevada. Es imposible callarla. Llora por cosas lejanas. Reina del sur caliente que pide camelias blancas, llora flechas sin blanco, la tarde sin mañana, y el primer pájaro muerto sobre la rama guitarra, corazón malherido por 5 veces. The guitar begins to cry, struggling against the dawn. It's useless to try and stop it, impossible not to go on, crying like the water, the way the wind weeps over the fallen snow, soft tones of sadness over distant things.
Sue.
All right.
Beautiful job.
Thank you. Gracias.
Can I try my little Chopin
You're welcome to do your little
number
Chopin.
here and stuff? And
If you haven't been on this rodeo before, Rusty has been learning instrumental guitar versions of the composer Chopin, who composed on piano.
he was a piano guy. He was like
a
this
piano guy.
ferocious piano player. And so anyway, there's a little serendipity going on around here because when I got this new guitar, a little guitar called Lightning, I picked up a classical music book. You know, it's just a simple melodies of these classical music favorites with the chord written, you know, in the appropriate place. And so you kind of left to your own devices on arrangements. And I got just real fixated on some Chopin pieces. And oddly enough, about a week ago, I come to find out that at our church, we have a Wednesday service, and the pastor has asked for some instrumental music, just little 2-minute, you know, bits of instrumental music in a couple of places in the service. And, I finally, kind of get a sense of maybe why I was kind of drawn to that. And so I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of Chopin, which I think is pretty darn sacred music.
Very
and
contemplative, yeah.
So anyway, this is one. See what y'all think of this.
Beautiful.
Anyway.
I just realized I invited people earlier in the program to share with us what you're planting right now, if you're planting anything, and I never shared what I'm planting, so I'm going to share with you right now. I've got some tomato plants went in the ground and a couple pepper plants, and one of them, unfortunately, something got to it. I've got some basil and some mint that I just planted, and what else? Cucumbers are just coming up right now, poking their little leaves out of the ground, and I've got some baby lettuce that I planted. That it'll get too hot for it to get very big, but can munch on those little baby lettuces. So that's my little garden. If anybody out there is planting any vegetables, herbs, flowers, actually in Central Texas we lost a lot of plants with the big freeze, so a lot of people are replacing things right now. So if you feel like letting us know what you're doing, what you're planting right now, that'd be great. And otherwise, I think Rusty's got another song for us.
Well, don't try to figure it out, and I'll try to do the same. Let your shoulders relax and your hair fall across your face. Or to hell with a plan. I don't want to understand a single thing that we do. Well, let's live this moment like we haven't got a clue. All the curve of your shadow gently cast across the wall is able to seduce me without any thought at all. Or to hell with a plan. I don't want to understand a single thing that we do. Well, let's live this moment like we haven't got a clue. Or the shudder of a silent prayer courses across my skin. Can we go to a place that we've never been? Or to hell with a plan. I don't want to understand a single thing that we do. Let's live this moment like we haven't got a clue.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Still
All
working
right.
through a couple of little rough spots there, but shoot.
We've got a garden update from Joanna. Joanna's planting tomatoes, basil, mint, loofah. Wow. And those are those gourds that you can, like, they're sponges.
Gourds?
Yeah, the inside is you can use it as a sponge.
Good gosh.
And then my rosemary froze too, and I've got to get another rosemary plant because there's nothing like fresh rosemary, and use it all the time. Yep. Well, that sounds beautiful, Joanna. Yes, Feldenkrais is the bomb. I agree. Welcome, Sarah. You know Sarah's in a relaxed state because she just got out of her Feldenkrais class. If you're wondering what that is, Google it. I've been doing it for years. It keeps me healthy and sane and happy and relaxed and all that stuff.
It's a good thing, Sue. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. I think we got one more song for you. We're gonna go out with a.
Yeah, this is a little number that I wrote commemorating my days working offshore. Had the privilege of doing. I'll tell you a little story. You know, it's funny because my grandfather grew up in a little town outside of Shreveport called Homer, Louisiana, and he got his job first. Kind of major job out of high school, working in what they called the Smackover oil fields in Arkansas. And so he took this job and he thought he had it made. I mean, this is 1928, 29. I guess the Depression hadn't quite started. And he's making $5 a day. And he figured, man, I'm in. This is it. I've got it figured out.
That was good money back then, huh?
But what he didn't know was he had a real jerk for a kind of a tool pusher is what they call it, but a straw boss, whatever, and just made his life a living hell. And he just rode him from the moment he woke up to the moment he went to bed. And so he started second guessing that thought about the oil fields being the place where he needed to be. And then all of a sudden he was working one afternoon with a buddy, and they're just covered in filth, just oil, grease from head to toe. And off in the distance, he said he saw this Oldsmobile automobile going down this dirt road heading their way. And that Oldsmobile car just slowly made its way down this winding kind of, dirt road to finally got to where they were. And this guy steps out of this car, and he had this white shirt that was just absolutely crisp. I mean, pressed shirt, these khakis, and these riding boots that went right up to his knee, just shining. And tall guy, and all of a sudden, this bane of his existence, his direct supervisor, tool pusher, boss, ran over to this guy. And this guy starts talking. And all of a sudden, he starts kind of wagging his finger and kind of pressing it up against his chest. And then he go point at something. And this guy would run over to whatever he was pointing at, and he'd do whatever he needed to do, and then ran back. And this guy started talking to him again, just putting his finger in his chest, and he'd go point over there. So he'd go run over there and do whatever he needed to do. My grandfather is just transfixed on this deal. And he asked his buddy, he said, "Who in the world is that?" And his buddy said, "That's the engineer." And my grandfather said, "That's what I'm going to do." So he hightailed it out of there. His parents, I think he was like the last of 10 or 11 kids. They scratched together enough money for him to go to college, and that's what he did. He became a college guy. Couldn't quite hack the math in engineering, so he ended up becoming a geologist.
Not bad.
And worked in the oil business in a little different position than what he would have otherwise. And again, the other interesting thing about that to me is that for the first 5 years, he graduated in 33 in the depths of the Depression. And he probably spent 5 or 6 years, he said, just traveling from town to town, working in whatever capacity he could, in the oil fields. I mean, it wasn't an office job back then. He just basically there to survive. And he's just spoke incredibly eloquently about the beauty and the value of dear friends, because he said he would not have made it without friends that could give him heads up about who's hiring and who's doing what, and to be able to support his family. So anyway, this is my little experience, which is not quite as poignant, but it was fun. And it goes exactly like this. 7 days on, 7 days off, it's the only life I know. Out on them all rigs in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, I'm back on shore, and brother, I am set when I've got 7 days of loving my Fleur de Lafayette. Lafayette, Lafayette, how quick can I get to the one who loves me so? Right along that old bayou to my Fleur de Lafayette, where the miles can't pass fast enough, and I'm ripping through that low-hanging moss. I can feel my body burning like a bottle of Tabasco sauce, tangled in each other's arms. It's as good as it can get when I've got 7 days of loving my Fleur de Lafayette. Lafayette, Lafayette, how quick can I get to the one who loves me so? Right along that old bayou to my Fleur de Lafayette.
Take it, Rusty.
Here I go, Sue. there it is. Guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. This is a blast for Sue and I. Well, I learned not to speak for Sue. It's a blast for me. Is it a blast for you too,
It's
Sue?
been really fun. I just want to
Yeah.
mention Belinda. Thanks for sharing your garden, your update on your garden with us. I'm intrigued by throwing flax seeds into your yard. I wonder what that looks like. Is it like grass? Does it come up and look like grass? I'm really curious about that. Anyway, I bet your yard's going to be beautiful. So right now we're thinking we're going to be back next week, although you're going out of...
I'll be all right.
Well, anyway, we
We'll
think we'll
figure
be
it
back
out.
next week, next Tuesday. We'll send you an update. Look, we'll invite you on Facebook. So y'all have a great rest of your week and weekend. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you in person. Things are getting better, so hopefully that's going to happen soon.
And Stephanie, I look forward to seeing you this weekend, okay? See you on Thursday. Bye-bye, guys. Love y'all.
Love you.